Hi, I have Mark Magpayo at Signify Health joining us. Mark, just a little bit about yourself, about your background, please.
So I've been with Signify Health for the last 4 years. I've been in security for 7 and within the IT space for over 20. So, the reality is, I joined Signify Health roughly 4 years ago as the first security hire. My original role was as a security engineer with Remedy Partners, which after several years had merged with Signify Health in 2019. So that's a little bit about me.
And about Signify Health, 4 years, that's a long time in this environment for a security professional where people are hopping around every few months. Like just about the organization, about what you guys do, about the business model, and then kind of jumping right into in terms of what that means for the tech stack and the people, ops, and the risks that are associated with that.
Sure, yeah. So with any growing business, one of the biggest challenges that we had to address was the merging of different business units. There's a lot of security there. I can't go into too much detail in terms of what we've had to do, but you can imagine that you're dealing with 2 different separate security stacks, 2 different infrastructures, each with their own complexities, and then you're trying to combine those 2 things together. And one of the major issues that we've had to deal with is our challenge with DLP. In general, we're addressing DLP at the endpoint. And this is one of the areas where we felt that Polymer could help us with.
Okay. Before we jump into kind of like the actual use cases, what is Signify Health?
Oh yeah, sure. So Signify Health is basically the only way I could describe it as a technical person is this. There's one component which is episodes of care, and then you have one component which is in-home care. And then basically what they've done is combine the 2 together to create what is Signify Health today. We also have a communities component. That component deals with drug abuse and that type of thing. But it's basically trying to create holistic care for our patients and to drive what our CEO has deemed better days at home or more better days at home. That type of thing.
And in terms of size of the organization, how are you guys split up? Is it remote workspace? Are there like hubs across the country?
Oh yes, we're dispersed across the country, predominantly mobile at this point in time. But we do have our physical sites. Due to COVID, we haven't been spending too much time there, but primarily we have sites in Texas as well as in New York and Connecticut.
Got it. And kind of like from a security and compliance perspective, what are the big themes of challenges which keeps you up at night or used to keep you up at night in terms of what are the risks? Are there people risks, technology risks? Like how would you describe where you are out trying to fight the fires before they become a fire, for example?
Honestly, predominantly it's around data. DLP is one of the biggest risks within the organization. We do handle a lot of DLP. PHI, yeah, PHI. So that is a major concern for us, and how it leaves the organization, if it leaves the organization, right? We have to be able to monitor that, detect it, monitor it.
Got it. And is this all, you're under HIPAA regulation? You're a covered entity?
Yes, we are.
Okay, got it. And then in terms of what kind of environments, what kind of tech stack do you have? Are you predominantly cloud-based, SaaS-based company, modern tech stack, or you have some legacy software also? And what are the challenges that brings with it from monitoring and from a security compliance perspective?
We're a hybrid organization, a multi-cloud hybrid organization. So yes, it brings a very high level of complexity in terms of being able to monitor the environments.
And what kind of platforms? I mean, we know about Slack. So you're using all the sort of like modern SaaS tools, I take?
Yes. Yes. So I can't go into too much
No,
detail.
that's fine. That's
Yeah,
okay. So modern tech stack, modern
yeah,
SaaS platform,
yeah.
collaborative tools and stuff. And then what brought you in terms of looking for a DLP solution for Slack? I mean, I guess we can talk about that, right?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think the one of the biggest challenges with the former vendor was the overhead. So the solution itself, it was a good solution. It is one of the up and coming DLP solutions within the space. But we had challenges with managing it. So there was a lot of manual overhead, from our perspective, at least the way that we were implementing it. So we had to find a solution that fit our dynamic. And so we came across Polymer, and we discussed it with the Yasser and team. And the reality was that they brought a solution to us that was able to answer our need. And so like any solution, you're doubtful at first, but we went through comprehensive testing with the team, and then they were able to address all of our concerns. And what we find ourselves today is with a solution that we feel is the best fit for our organization at this point in time.
Got it. And why did you need a DLP for Slack? What was the requirement to have a comprehensive DLP solution for your Slack environment?
So what drove it, basically, drove the decision was the fact that we were under BAA with Slack. So, the idea there is that we're not supposed to have PHI within Slack. And so, at first we look for detection mechanisms that would remove it. But, what we found was Polymer is a much more elegant solution in terms with meeting the spirit of the contract, which is to be able to identify PHI and redact it. Right.
Okay. And in terms of time save for your engineering team, how much time the redaction piece, for example, has been saving you? You kind of mentioned that was the differentiator between the Polymer and the price solution.
If you think about it, in the days we were handling it manually, it was a little over an hour to 2 hours a day for the engineer handling that. And so, what it's allowed us to do is the cost really, or the overhead is just the upfront cost of setting up the system, right? During the testing, setting up the policies and the rules. And now the reality is it just runs itself. So, we're only going in there when we have to make adjustments to certain things. But the overhead overall, I would say is almost non-existent. Right.
Got it. And tell us about the accuracy rate, because that obviously is a big issue with DLP in general, very low accuracy in general for most products. How have you found with Polymer the accuracy rate and what you were able to achieve and how quickly?
So with our previous solution, we had about a 20% accuracy rate, 10 to 20%, I would say. And so with Polymer, it's actually flipped. Right. So now we're in the 80 to 90 percentile range as opposed to having to deal with false positives all day. So that has, again, when you're talking about overhead, that has made a major difference.
Got it. And how are you thinking ahead in terms of beyond Slack, in terms of like how that helps you in other areas, generically speaking? Now that you have a policy put in place, which is at an org level, how can that be applied to other areas? Like, do you see any scope of that?
Oh, definitely. We've had conversations with the team about leveraging its capabilities within Drive, so Google Drive. We've had conversations about potentially implementing it in Jira. So those are areas where we see this solution growing into, and we're very excited.
Great. Mark, last question in terms of the whole onboarding experience. How did that go for you guys? How was that process end to end?
Oh, so I would say what you get is, if you deal with Polymer, is basically white glove service. I mean, they've been with us from the very beginning, and they're continually engaged. When we have a concern, the team is willing to put in the time and figure out what the issue is. And so, we're very happy with the service that we've been provided thus far during our engagement with Polymer.
Great. Mark, this is very kind of you. You're a great champion for us, for our team. Your whole team has been amazing to work with. And you guys are the early adopters, early innovators from crossing the chasm perspective. And it's been amazing working with you guys. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.